Have you ever met the connector? Well, he ponders, he helps, he creates, he writes, he speaks. He basically connects people and brings them together. I speak about Paul Solano of PS and All Marketing Group. At psandallmarketinggroup.com, you will receive an assembled group of Paul's contacts and connections that cross into many sectors of life. Please contact Paul Solano at 617-240-4130 or psandallmarketinggroup@gmail.com if you are in the market for a wide array of services. Again, please contact The Connector, Paul Solano at 617-240-4130 or psandallmarketinggroup@gmail.com with any questions. And now, here's Paul Solano, the host of Paul Ponders.
Welcome to Hashtag Paul Ponders. I've really enjoyed bringing you fun, informative, intriguing, and pondering podcasts. Many thanks to Hashtag Pod Pro Entertainment. Today's collaborating sponsor, Scot Albertson of Hashtag Project142.org, Riverworks Credit Union, NMLS number 410564, and Remax Renaissance Realty of Reading. Thanks for listening, rating, reviewing, and subscribing. Let Hashtag Paul Ponders begin. Greetings, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well today. Welcome back to another episode of Paul Ponders. I'm actually wearing my special shirt from Northeastern Fence and Supply Corporation of Saugus, where they have fences for your kids, dogs, and ugly neighbors. Check out my radio podcasts on WATD 95.9 FM at 12:08 on Saturdays until 1 o'clock. But in this episode today, I am delighted to have two returning friends on this podcast. I have Scot Albertson of Project 142 and Bob Hyldburg, today representing the Sarah Bradlee Fulton Statue Committee. But gentlemen, welcome.
Hello Thank you for having us back.
Oh, it's great to have you. Scot Albertson, Project 142. You do it all. You are just absolutely amazing. You are a marketing guru. Bob Hyldburg, Patriots historian, total patriot. You do it all as well. And I'm blessed to have you as dear friends. And I want to welcome you again to this Paul Ponders podcast. So, Scot Albertson, we try to just do some things that are, in fact, very, situated with life in general. But at Pearl Street Station Restaurant on April 19th, we have something coming up. So if you want to let our listeners know what is happening at Pearl Street Station Restaurant.
Thank you, Paul. So this is going to be a return engagement for myself and John Boboian, who is a wonderful guitarist who is celebrating his 45th year anniversary of being a music professor of the jazz department at Berklee in Boston. So John and I are returning to do a duo Sunday jazz brunch at Pearl Street Station with a special jazz brunch menu, all put together by Chef Felipe, right?
That is correct.
Culinary team, and it's going to be from noon to 3 in the afternoon. There's no cover charge, and what it's going to be, because Paul and I talked about this and Bob is a part of it, it's going to be a community brunch event support afternoon, meaning I'm going to talk about, as I perform, other organizations, nonprofits, such as what Bob's involved with the Sarah Bradlee Fulton statue, which will take place the next day on April 20, 2026 at 9 a.m. at City Hall at Medford, Mass. And that's the Looking Back at MedfordHistory.com, which is the nonprofit that's involved with that. But we'll also, whoever is in the audience that is another artist, we'll talk about what they're doing, certainly what's upcoming at Pearl Street Station, other events that are coming up at that point in time on that Sunday. So that's what we're going to be doing for 3 hours.
Well, that's a jazzy idea, if you will.
Yeah. Right. And we're also going to have a table set up because you and I talked about doing that, which will have flyers displayed, for example, like Sarah Bradlee, for example, the Fulton statue ceremony, and for the folks that are attending the jazz brunch to take at their leisure to make it easier for them. And this way they could take it home, maybe pass it on to another individual, maybe pass it on at work. For again, that whole idea of community support, because, that's so important. And most artists don't approach a performance in that perspective.
That is so true. So, Bob Hyldburg, it's a big weekend for you and for the people of Medford, Mass, and it's a great community event. Why don't you let our listeners in Paul Ponders Land know about this project you've been working on?
Yeah, thanks, Paul, and thanks, Scott. We've worked together for a long time and a variety of opportunities. And Scott, we're gonna really just have a ball with you and John. I mean, it's so fun just to kind of hang out with you guys, and you get the audience involved. We sing. We maybe we'll do some jazz dancing and that kind of stuff. It's a great networking event, and we're really happy to coordinate with you for the next day. So Sarah Bradlee Fulton was a spy during the Revolutionary War. She had 9 kids, so she really put her life on the line to kind of row across the harbor a couple times to get messages to George Washington and his troops. She was a nurse at Bunker Hill. She took a bullet out of a guy's cheek, and about a year later, the guy came back and said, "Thank you very much." And then after the war, George Washington came to her house, and there's a whole section of Medford called Medford Heights and Medford Street, and it's named after Sarah Bradlee Fulton. Fulton Heights and Fulton Street. So on April 20th, we just confirmed that someone from the Veterans Administration is going to be there. We're going to have a lieutenant colonel is going to be there as part of a presentation to represent the military. It's a big deal to have a statue for this Revolutionary War heroine, and especially a woman, in Medford City Hall. And then after the ceremony, we unveiled a ceremony that was a 6-foot-high statue with a 2-foot base. I'm going to be changing my revolutionary hat and becoming Captain Isaac Hall and meeting Paul Revere on his horse as he comes from Charlestown at the Captain Isaac Hall house right on High Street about 11:30, 11:45 in Medford. So a lot of things happening. So this event the day before is a good place to network. It's a good place for us to get together, have some fun, and meet people that have been and will continue to support the nonprofits and certainly any kind of historic society of the 250th Declaration of Independence, so to speak. We didn't really become a country, and George Washington didn't become president until much later, but 1776 and 2026 is a big, cool year of 250 years of independence.
Without a doubt, and I remember attending last year's ceremony. I remember looking at all the people who came out on that day, on Patriots Day, Patriots Monday, which is also Marathon Monday.
Right.
And was one of those things that you looked absolutely marvelous. You're at the window just looking out as Isaac Hall, and you wear. It all started actually at the cemetery, right? And then we marched over. And it's the first time I've ever actually marched with a fife and drum corps. And I thank you for that opportunity to march with you and your wonderful colleagues who are involved with the Medford Historical Commission. Thank you for that, Bob.
Yeah, it's actually looking back in Medford history is the actually nonprofit. We're working with the Medford Historical Society, but we're doing it separately from them a little bit. Yeah, it is cool that they shut down the streets, and we're hoping to have a lot of publicity for this unveiling of the statue. And then with Paul Revere getting on his horse, we read the Longfellow poem. And when he came that night, it was about midnight. So when he comes to my house, I'm actually wearing a nightcap because I have to open the window. What's going on? And I have to come down the stairs. And he says, they're on the march. The redcoats are on the march. The lobster backs are out. It's not the British are coming. It's they're on the march. And Captain Isaac Hall was in charge of the Malden and Medford militiamen. So he had to get his act together and get out to tell people that they're coming to get us, and we got to protect ourselves. And then they eventually moved on to Lexington and Concord, and Paul Revere actually get captured, never made it there, but we started the revolution then.
And for our listeners who are not familiar with the area, this is the actual course. This is on the actual street, the road that Paul Revere was on. So it's really quite historical, and it's actually around the corner, I believe, from where Jingle Bells was written, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and Jingle Bells was just the Thanksgiving horse race. Let's go to Grandma's and one horse open sleigh, and they used to race sleds through Medford and Malden, and it was a Thanksgiving kind of let's get on the horses and race over to Grandma's, and it eventually became a Christmas song. It was one of the first songs ever played in space too, Jingle Bells. So James Pimhort come up with the idea of making a song out of riding a one-horse open sleigh off to Grandma's in Malden.
Absolutely. And to use that as a segue to the wonderful, wonderful, harmonious voice, if you will, of Scot Albertson. Scott just does a fabulous job. And Scott, what are some of the songs you plan on performing with John Boboian from the Berklee School of Music?
We're going to start out with the jazz vein, meaning we're going to perform songs such as It's All Right With Me and Misty, which is an Errol Garner classic. Also, we're going to then segue into some pop, such as Put a Little Love in Your Heart, which is really a big tune that I've been doing now for a handful of years. And it really works for a crowd because most everybody knows that song. And it's really one that you can get everybody into and get the energy moving in a room. We'll do some very beautiful ballads like Tenderly, which is absolutely a stunning song from the 1950s, which again is from the jazz book. And we'll probably do maybe one or two Irish songs, which I always enjoy doing, like Danny Boy, for example, and also maybe something along When Irish Eyes Are Smiling, because everybody loves to sing that song.
Love that. Love that. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I have a question for Bob real quick.
Absolutely.
You were talking about Jingle Bells?
Yes.
Was it shortly after that they wrote Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer?
That didn't happen that night, but I'm sure that was part of the backstory.
I love it. I love it. That's great.
You might not believe.
I love it. I love it. Well, also too, we may have in attendance Mr. Gordon Michaels. I was just checking out the timing on his show. He is coming up on April 23rd, which happens to be his 62nd birthday. And it's one of those things that Gordon Michaels, who has performed at Pearl Street Station Restaurant, 53 Summer Street in Malden, Mass, a few times, is in fact putting together this show. It's a reschedule of a show that we had scheduled earlier in the year. And it's one of those things that Gordon Michaels does a great job. So I hope that he will be able to perform with you and maybe sing a song. And also, too, we have Natalia Stico, who was in attendance and sang a song or two at the last time that you were at Pearl Street Station Restaurant, Scott. So really, it's a great event, and it's all about community. So I know that we've asked a few other organizations, whether it be Gotham Whale, whether it be the Hallmark Health Food Pantry, whether or not it was maybe the promotion of the Seal in the Bathtub, which is something that our dear friend who has put us together, Scott Paul C. Swerter, has put together with Seal in the Bathtub. So really, as we start to wind down, how do our listeners find out or get tickets for this event?
No tickets. Just come on down, man. Yep.
It's
No cover
totally
charge. You
free.
just come on in. Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely. Call and make a reservation. That I would highly recommend that. That's your domain, Paul. But I would definitely highly recommend to make a reservation because I think it's going to be a jamming event. It has in the past. We did that first one in July of 2024, John and I. And I remember you saying, and even it was in the middle of the summertime, it was a nice day, that it was probably one of the best attended brunches that you've had in a long time.
Absolutely. It was on Bastille Day, actually, and we had
Right,
French
correct.
toast. We had the delightful French toast, which was just so awesome from Chef Felipe Fitzpatrick. So I think we are going to have that again, and it should work out well. And Chef Felipe has promised that he will not include the calories from the French toast, and that apple calzone that he's going to have will in fact be
Ooh,
absolutely heavenly.
that's
And
sinful.
absolutely, indeed. And Bob, how do our listeners contact you for any final donations for this wonderful statue that you'll be unveiling on April 20th?
Yes, the Pearl Street Station is the place to be all the time. I mean, the karaoke and all that kind of fun stuff, but that's Sunday, April 19th. Be there. Come in costume. I'm going to be kind of dressed as a couple different people. Who knows? Other people might show up. So come on down to the Pearl Street Restaurant. And if you want to support the nonprofit, we're going to be out there. The Henry Knox Trail is got a couple events coming up over the next couple weeks. I'm going to be at Dorchester Heights on Evacuation Day. So if you want to come out to Dorchester Heights on March 17th, and then certainly come to April 20th. But you want to help us in any way, looking back at medfordhistory.com. It's a big, long website. Looking back at medfordhistory.com, not Meffa, medford.com. And just reach out. I mean, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, just our names. But it'd be great to see you on the 19th. We'll have some fun. We'll sing some songs, and then come on over to Medford City Hall, April 20th, before the marathon. Come on over, have some fun, bring your kids. That's free as well. It's going to be a great event, and anything you can do to help us promote this, that would be great too. Looking back at medfordhistory.com. Thanks, Paul.
That's
Thanks, Scott.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
Bob.
you.
And Scott, to close it out as one of the sponsors, really since I've been doing this podcast, I think this is podcast number 83 or 84, whatever the case may be. You've been there. You've been a loyal supporter and a great promoter of the podcast. And I want to thank you and Project 142, Scot Albertson. As I always say, Scot Albertson, Scott with one T, Albertson, S-O-N. So if you want to give one final plug as we wind down on Project 142, take it away on what Project 142 is.
New episode just came out today, which is September. I'm okay. It's actually February 26, 2026. So, and certainly within that, I promoted Paul Ponders once again. I certainly also sent a private message out in the video specifically to Bob promoting the April 20th, 2026 Sarah Bradlee, Fulton, right. But in it, I sent a little dedication to Bob, and that is, and nobody doesn't like Sarah Lee.
I love it. I love it.
That's it.
What a way to close out. Well, gentlemen, I want to thank you again. Yes, that really takes the cake. It really does. And so with that, I'm going to close out with those famous words, or that famous word, gentlemen, hashtag indeed.
Thank you, Paul.
Much
Thank you.
appreciated. Love you all.
Thank you,
Thank
Bob.
you. Love you too. I trust that you have enjoyed hashtag Paul Ponders. Again, my name is Paul Solano of PS&All Marketing Group, and I may be reached via email at paul@paulponders.com to do some more pondering. Many thanks to my longtime collaborative friend and associate, Alonzo Amos of Pod Pro Entertainment, in bringing you our fun, exciting, and informative podcasts. You rock, Techie Alonzo. With PS&All Marketing Group, I created a side gig to connect you and get things done. Please do not hesitate to reach out to me at paul@paulponders.com with any questions. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Paul Ponders. Follow us on Twitter at Paul Ponders Pod. Follow us on Instagram at Paul Ponders Podcast. Thank you again for listening to #Paul Ponders, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, our website, paulponders.com, or wherever you stream your podcasts. Subscribe, stream, rate, and review our shows. Your ratings and reviews help our show reach new audiences. Produced by PodPro Entertainment, #Paul Ponders lives within a network of podcasts located at podproentertainment.com. #The New Radio. Until we meet again, my friend, stay well. #Indeed.